Alright, so guys, it's Monday, we're outside again, and this time we're going to be working in the garden. And I'm going to explain to you the stuff that we've done in the garden. We started about a month ago, and we had to clear out the wildflowers and then weeds that had grown up in the wildflowers, and so we did a big clear out. I think it was the week after that, then we had 2 nights that got down to 35 degrees, and that was really hard on some of the plants, and so we ended up losing all of the cucumber. And then on everything else, it didn't kill it, but it kind of stunted it because the earth gets really cold, and so they don't grow like you kind of expect them to when the ground is cold. But then it got warm again and beautiful like it's supposed to be in April. And so they've been doing really well, and we got seeds and we replanted our cucumbers, and they have started to sprout up and they're looking really good. See that our garden is really grown up with wildflowers and weeds that we had left over from last summer. And we came in here and we chopped everything down and then we cleared it out. On March 28th, we came in and started getting the ground ready to plant the vegetable garden and really getting all the weeds and little things cleared out of there. We planted onions, squash, zucchini, tomatoes, cucumbers, peppers, and cantaloupe. We also decided to plant strawberries, collard greens, and herbs in pots. Those plants need less sunshine and heat than the other vegetables that we have planted. Because these are in pots, we can move them onto the patio to get them into shade during the heat of the day. Alright, so today we're going to be working in the garden, and we're going to talk about different things that it's a good idea to plant and why. So last year I planted wildflowers in the garden, and this front section in front of the white fence, this is still wildflowers, and we're going to keep it that way. And I have another garden that I keep wildflowers in it too. We decided this year to do a vegetable garden because we knew we were going to be home a lot more and have time to manage a vegetable garden, because it's a lot more work than a wildflower garden. The reason why it's a good idea to have wildflowers in your yard is because insects are really important to ecosystems in Texas and the whole world, but the numbers of insects have declined a lot in the past 10-20 years, and a good way to encourage insects and kind of help them stay alive is to have a wildflower garden, especially if you plant native wildflowers to your area. And so that gives them a food source. It gives them a place to live. They like to live in dense plants growing. And you may be like, a lot of people, you're like, oh, mosquitoes and flies. And I mean, there are a lot of insects that we kind of hate because they make us uncomfortable, they irritate us. But there are a ton of insects that are actually super important, and even those insects that we don't like are a food source for birds and fish and mammals. And any insect that will go into a flower and visit multiple flowers, they are called pollinators, and they are really important to plants, because plants, most, like 90% of flowering plants, cannot reproduce if they don't have a pollinator that's going and visiting the flowers. So we're going to try and encourage our pollinators and our other insects that are just important to their ecosystem. Alright, so today what we're going to work on is, I have an area, these are the wildflowers that we chopped down and got out of here because they were dead and they needed to get out of the way so that we could plant the vegetables. And so we just piled them up here, and I want to move that because I've got a new plan for that area. And my big black compost bin that you guys have seen on other Mondays, I want to move it to a different place. And we've got a section in the garden that had blackberries in it, and somehow I managed to kill my blackberries this year. So we've cleared them out, and we're going to plant wildflowers in that area. So in this area we planted wildflowers, and the way you do that is you order seed, and then you mix your seed up with either sand or potting soil, and I use potting soil because that's what I have. And then you like spread it out just like with your hand, just fling it around. And the cool thing about using the potting soil is it's a lot darker than the dirt, and so you can see where you threw it and where you didn't throw it. And then you come in and you walk over it. So it's okay for me to stand on it now, but once we start having sprouts coming up, you wouldn't want to do that. And then you keep it watered. We're going to have to water it every day because having seeds come up requires them to stay pretty damp. Okay, so when we took out the blackberry bushes that were large and dead, we started preparing that area over there for the wildflowers that we wanted to plant. And so we were digging in the dirt and raking and all of that and pulling out weeds. And we found little baby sprouts of my blackberry bushes. And so we were able to rescue 3 of them, and we moved them over here to plant them in this area. And I'm going to make sure that I learn more about blackberry bushes so that I don't kill them again this time. These are strawberry blossoms. Here are the cucumber sprouts from the seeds that we planted. This is what our collard greens look like after a month. Here we have baby bell pepper growing on our plant. Here's a baby jalapeno. Our tomato plants have blooms on them. The zucchini is about to bloom. They have little flowers that haven't opened up yet. Here are onions who are loving the shade, and our onions have probably done better than anything else so far.